Welcome back to the YouTube channel, everyone. If you're into coins, collecting, and the hidden treasures that can be found in the most unexpected places, then you're in the right spot. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that may not immediately catch the eye but holds a story that has stirred excitement and even disbelief in the numismatic community. It's the 2000 1-cent coin. Yes, the humble penny that came out of the Denver Mint during the turn of the millennium. Believe it or not, one of these coins has been reportedly associated with a staggering value of $14 million. That's right, $14 million. Now you might be asking yourself, how can a coin worth just 1 cent be worth millions? What's the backstory? How did it even happen? That's exactly what we're going to explore today. Let's start by stepping back to the year 2000. This was a time of new beginnings. The world had just survived the Y2K scare, the internet was growing at an exponential pace, and the United States Mint was continuing its work producing billions of coins to fuel the American economy. Among these were the Lincoln cents minted in Philadelphia and Denver. On the surface, the 2000 Lincoln cent didn't stand out. It had the same copper-plated zinc composition introduced in 1982, featuring Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Over 8.5 billion of these were produced, so what could possibly make one worth $14 million? To uncover that, we need to understand how coin values are determined in the first place. It's not always about rarity and mintage numbers alone. Sometimes, it's about mistakes, known as mint errors, or unique traits that occurred during production. Sometimes, the story behind a coin or the provenance it carries can elevate it to legendary status. And in very rare cases, speculation, rumor, or myth can amplify a coin's value beyond imagination. The 2000 penny that's allegedly worth $14 million falls into a rare combination of these categories. Now, let's dive into the origins. The Denver Mint, responsible for producing coins for the western United States, has had a solid reputation for quality. But like any large-scale production facility, it has had its share of errors over the years. In 2000, most of the coins came out as expected, but some didn't. There were reports of off-center strikes, double dies, and even transitional errors. Yet none of those have fetched anything close to what's been claimed for this mysterious penny. So what makes this coin different? The story goes that the particular 2000 1-cent coin was discovered by a private collector who initially had no idea of its significance. It was tucked away among a hoard of pennies gathered over decades, just sitting in a jar like many of us have at home. This coin, however, looked slightly different under magnification. The color was unusual, the strike was cleaner than average, and more importantly, it bore microscopic anomalies that suggested it wasn't just any ordinary cent. It had traits that seemed inconsistent with standard U.S. mint practices. What's fascinating is that numismatists began speculating about the coin's features. Some claimed it may have been struck on a foreign planchet, meaning a blank intended for another country's coinage. Others suspected it was a mule error, a rare type of mistake where the obverse and reverse dies don't match. There were even whispers that this coin may have been part of an experimental batch, a secret production test never meant for public release. The more experts examined it, the more puzzling it became. The mystery didn't end there. There was another layer, provenance. As more stories surfaced, some began claiming that this coin had once been in the possession of a former mint employee who allegedly smuggled out rare errors over the years. It was even said to have passed through the hands of a private collector known for owning other experimental and off-books U.S. coinage. Though no official confirmation ever came from the mint, these rumors gave the coin a kind of folklore status. It moved from being a curiosity to being regarded as a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly. Eventually, the coin was rumored to have sold in a private auction for a jaw-dropping $14 million. The buyer was never publicly identified, and the transaction wasn't registered through a typical coin auction house, which only added to its mystique. Some critics argue that the price was inflated, that the story has more fiction than fact, and that no coin, especially a penny, could be worth that much. But others argue that if art can fetch hundreds of millions, why not a coin with a rich backstory and unprecedented anomalies? The story has become a kind of legend in the coin collecting community. Collectors and dealers still debate its legitimacy. Forums have dedicated threads discussing every possible angle of this penny, from its metallurgical properties to its design inconsistencies. Some even claim to have seen it in person, though no high-resolution images have ever been officially released to the public. It exists in a space between fact and fable, yet its story continues to inspire collectors to comb through their change in hopes of discovering something equally astonishing. Now, while this particular coin remains elusive, what can be said for certain is that the 2000D penny does offer opportunities for discovery. There are known mint errors for this coin that are absolutely real and can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their condition and rarity. Double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, these errors exist and have been certified by grading agencies. So it's worth paying attention to your pocket change, especially when it comes to coins from years that were produced in the billions, because errors are more likely to be overlooked in such vast production runs. In the bigger picture, stories like that of the $14 million penny remind us of the romance and intrigue that can be found in coin collecting. It's not just about money, it's about history, human error, and the thrill of the hunt. Each coin is a snapshot of a moment in time. It carries the marks of the tools used to create it, the decisions made by designers, and sometimes even the mistakes that give it lasting value. Coins like the 2000D penny, whether truly worth millions or not, capture the imagination because they turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Let's talk about the broader historical context. In 2000, the U.S. Mint was not only producing standard circulation coins, but also experimenting with new designs and materials, especially in the wake of the Sacagawea dollar's introduction. It was a time of transition, where digital technologies were starting to impact die-making processes. Errors that occurred during this era are of special interest because they reflect this transition. The penny in question may have been a byproduct of these technological changes, possibly a test coin struck using experimental dies or new die alignment systems. If that's true, its rarity isn't just physical, it's historical. There's also the cultural value to consider. The penny has long held symbolic importance in American life. From Abraham Lincoln's profile to the memorial on the reverse, it represents both leadership and legacy. A coin from the year 2000, the dawn of a new millennium, carries an added weight. To have a singular, unique example from that year, especially if it's tied to mysterious origins or a secret history, gives it an almost mythological status. It becomes a time capsule that links the past and future. Even now, the coin remains elusive. It has never been listed in the public databases of major grading agencies under that value. Yet collectors continue to talk about it. Social media groups speculate on its features. Videos analyze potential characteristics that would justify such a price. It remains, for many, the ultimate collector's dream. The possibility that a coin they casually spend or toss into a drawer could be hiding a multi-million-dollar value ignites passion and curiosity in everyone from seasoned dealers to casual enthusiasts. The psychological component is worth noting, too. Value, especially in collectibles, is often about perception and desire. If enough people believe that a coin is worth $14 million, and if someone is willing to pay that price, even privately, that belief can become reality. It challenges the way we understand worth, value, and rarity. A penny is worth 1 cent by design, but in the right context, with the right story and the right buyer, it can become a fortune. So what does this mean for the average person? Should we all start digging through jars of coins and pocket change, hoping to stumble upon the next big find? The answer is maybe. While it's unlikely that another 2000 penny with that specific set of circumstances will appear, the fact remains that rare coins are still out there. The U.S. Mint produces billions of coins every year, and mistakes do happen. Collectors have found incredibly valuable coins in circulation before, sometimes even worth thousands or tens of thousands. But beyond the potential for monetary gain, there's something deeply satisfying about uncovering history through something as small as a coin. It's a hands-on connection to the past, a way to appreciate craftsmanship, economics, and even politics. Every coin tells a story, and some, like the 2000 penny, tell stories so compelling they become legend. That wraps up our deep dive into one of the most fascinating coin tales in recent history. Whether the $14 million valuation is entirely accurate or simply part of the mythos surrounding this unique cent, it's clear that this coin has made a lasting impact on the world of numismatics. Today we're going to take a journey into one of the most unexpected stories in the world of coins. The story revolves around a modern penny, the 2017 P1 cent coin, which shocked collectors and the numismatic world when reports surfaced that one of these seemingly ordinary coins had been valued at an astronomical $9 million. That's right, a single penny minted just a few years ago was associated with a price tag that could buy mansions, yachts, and more than a few exotic cars. You may be asking how that's even possible. How does a coin worth just 1 cent reach the level of being worth $9 million? What makes it so special? And is it real? All of those questions, and the fascinating history behind this unlikely treasure, are what we're going to explore in depth today. To understand the full magnitude of this story, we have to begin with a little background. In 2017, something remarkable happened in the world of U.S. coinage that had not occurred in over 225 years of minting history. For the very first time ever, the Philadelphia Mint placed a visible mint mark, P, on the 1 cent coin. Up until that year, Philadelphia minted Lincoln cents carried no mint mark at all. The presence of the P mint mark was a commemorative gesture, a way of celebrating the U.S. Mint's 225th anniversary. It was subtle, easy to overlook, but historically significant. Collectors immediately took notice. While billions of these coins were struck, the fact that it was the first and only time that the Philadelphia Mint placed its mark on a penny made it collectible from the get-go. But still, we're talking about billions of coins. So how does one coin become worth $9 million? The answer lies in a combination of unique circumstances, mysterious origins, and possibly a once-in-a-lifetime minting anomaly that launched this particular 2017 P cent into numismatic lore. It started innocuously. A coin collector in the Northeast reportedly found an unusual penny in a roll obtained from a bank. At first glance, it appeared to be a normal 2017 P Lincoln cent, but under magnification, there were tiny irregularities that stood out. The luster was different, the color slightly off, and the strike, how the design was stamped onto the planchet, was sharper, crisper, and more detailed than the average circulation coin.as. Word spread through collector forums. Discussions erupted about what the anomalies could mean. Some believe the coin may have been struck on an experimental planchet, a test piece never intended to be released to the public. Others speculated that it may have been the first coin struck that year at the Philadelphia Mint with a new mint mark, which would make it historically priceless. There was also talk that it could have been part of a ceremonial striking, perhaps even handled by mint officials during the anniversary celebration. What gave this story even more weight were the metallurgical tests conducted on the coin. A private collector who had obtained the penny at a premium price sent it to a lab specializing in coin analysis. The results were astonishing. While the outer appearance matched the copper-plated zinc composition used since 1982, deeper analysis showed trace elements that didn't align with standard mint specs. There were whispers that the coin contained an unusual alloy mixture, one that had never been documented in official mint records. This immediately raised questions. Was it a mistake? Was it intentional? Was this part of an experimental batch? As speculation grew, the value of the coin began to skyrocket. Some experts argued that if this was indeed an experimental strike, it could be the only one of its kind. That kind of rarity is what drives astronomical valuations in numismatics. Think about the 1933 double eagle or the 1794 flowing hair dollar, coins that fetch tens of millions not only because of their age or metal content, but because of their unique stories and extreme scarcity. The 2017 p-cent, despite being modern, was starting to fall into that category. But the most sensational twist came when a prominent private collector, known for acquiring some of the most unique U.S. coins ever sold, allegedly purchased the coin for $9 million in a private sale. The details of the transaction were never fully disclosed, which added to the mystique. There was no public auction, no flashy headlines from the big auction houses, just whispers and quiet confirmation from people in the know. The buyer, it was said, believed the coin represented a landmark moment in modern American numismatics, the intersection of history, innovation, and an almost magical level of rarity. What sets this story apart is not just the price tag, but the sheer improbability of such a coin existing. Think about it. This isn't an 18th century relic or a gold piece from the California Gold Rush. It's a penny from 2017, a year most of us vividly remember. It's a coin that millions of people held in their hands, perhaps overlooked, tossed into jars, or used to buy candy. And yet, within that enormous sea of commonality, one extraordinary example has risen above the rest. It serves as a powerful reminder that even the most unassuming objects can carry deep value under the right circumstances. There's also a deeper story here about how history is written and preserved through coinage. The mint's decision to place the P on the cent in 2017 was a nod to history. It was meant to be temporary, a one-time gesture of recognition. And yet, that single change created a subset of coinage unlike anything before it. The 2017 p-cent became an instant milestone, a marker of time and tradition. And in the case of the $9 million coin, it became something more, a symbol of how even modern artifacts can be priceless when tied to the right narrative. Collectors and enthusiasts continue to analyze known 2017 p-cents, hunting for clues that might suggest their coin is the one. Are there more out there? Was it truly a one-off error, or could others have been accidentally released? These questions continue to fuel debates and theories. Some collectors have turned to grading services like PCGS and NGC, submitting their 2017 p-cents in droves in hopes of discovering a variation that might be tied to the legendary one. So far, none have matched the reported details, which only enhances the rarity of the original. Adding to the intrigue is the idea that modern coins are often overlooked when it comes to deep analysis. There's a prevailing assumption that newer coins simply can't be as valuable as their older counterparts. But the 2017 penny story breaks that mold. It challenges assumptions and encourages collectors to look closely at the coins we often take for granted. It emphasizes that history isn't just something from centuries ago. It's being made every day. Let's not forget the cultural and symbolic importance of the penny itself. Though its value has diminished in practical terms, the penny remains deeply embedded in American culture. From Lincoln's profile to the phrases, "A penny saved is a penny earned," and "Penny for your thoughts," the 1-cent coin is more than just currency. It's a piece of Americana. So when something extraordinary happens involving a penny, especially one from such a recent year, it resonates in a powerful way. The story of the $9 million 2017 p-cent has also inspired a new generation of collectors. Young numismatists, who might have dismissed coin collecting as an outdated hobby are now paying attention. They're learning about mint marks, die varieties, and planchet compositions. They're diving into history with fresh enthusiasm, all sparked by a penny minted not that long ago. For veteran collectors, this tale is a reminder that the hobby still holds surprises. Even those who have spent decades studying, buying, and selling coins admit that they never expected a modern set to command such attention. It reaffirms the thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovery, and the endless possibilities that lie in each coin. It's also worth noting that the mint itself has not made an official statement about the coin. This silence has led to further speculation. Did the mint strike a special coin in secret? Was it part of a limited ceremonial set never intended for circulation? Or was it an accident, a fluke that just happened to survive the strict quality controls? Without confirmation, the story remains a tantalizing mystery, and the coin itself becomes almost mythic. As we continue to explore the world of rare coins, stories like this remind us that history is never static. It evolves with every new discovery, every surprising twist, every piece of metal that tells a deeper story. The 2017 piece set may be the most famous example in recent memory, but it certainly won't be the last. Somewhere out there, in a drawer, a jar, or a roll of change, could be the next great coin story waiting to be uncovered. So keep your eyes open, your minds curious, and your magnifying glasses ready. Because the next time you get change at the store, you just might be holding a fortune in your hand without even realizing it. The magic of coin collecting is that the ordinary can become extraordinary in an instant. And that's what keeps us coming back, searching, studying, and hoping to be part of the next big discovery. Thanks for tuning in again. We'll see you next time with more incredible stories from the world of coins, where history and value often meet in the most unexpected places.